TV. And we should be good to go. All right, turning the music down. Can you folks hear me okay? I am here, finally. Usual live stream issues never, ever, ever goes smoothly. I keep meaning to I need to do a dedicated stream cart kind of setup where I can just plug in stuff and walk away. But yeah, we'll see. Get the stream chat pulled up on the TV. All right. Audio good. All right. I would increase the audio a little bit. I can do that. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I am a little lower than I would like to be. All right, folks. 1 second. I'm going to raise the volume just a hair. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Oh, you know what? I think I got this. Is that okay? Seems a bit muffled. Too loud. Okay. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay. Let's go with this. I think I have the hard limiter set in OBS. I'm not going to mess with that right now. A little muffled compared to videos. Yeah, I edit audio in all of my YouTube videos, and I don't usually use a lavalier mic. I usually use a boom microphone, so I'm a lot clearer in videos versus live streams. Just kind of the way it is. Yeah, so. Okay. We've got the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max, the printer I didn't think was going to be coming so soon. It is here. Good evening all from 3DP UK. Welcome to the stream. The big boy, which is good because I've been wanting to Klipperize my Neptune 3 Max for a while now. It's a project I have on the docket to do, and I still may do it, but Elegoo did it for me, so I don't have to do that project right now. So I guess that's a good thing. Don't know. Let's check camera angle number 2. Hi, over there, you can see just how darn big this box is here. And let's get to unboxing this thing. Really not much more to say about it. I mean, there's more to say about it, but we'll get to it and we'll find out for ourselves as we go here. TikTok chat, anybody over there? There is going to be a much better view of things on YouTube. Stupid big bed slinger. Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid big bed slinger. You're not wrong. But, you know, can we assemble in 30 minutes? I have no idea. I get distracted doing live, so probably not. Purely because I'll get distracted and it's so darn big. I could use a bigger table for this too, but here we are. One of my next projects is a bigger workbench over here. So, ours should be easy, yeah. Honestly, if it's anything like putting the 3 Max together, it should go together just fine. It's just big and annoying to deal with, so. All right. Such a big freaking box. Containing stuff and things. Oh, there's space in here for them to put spools of filament in here. When you buy this right now, I did see, oh, there's the auxiliary part cooling. Let me zoom this camera angle in a little bit more. When you buy one of these, you have the option to get it with, sorry, 1 second. You have the option to get it with filament, spools of filament. They literally taped my spool of filament that they sent me with it, their new beautiful blue color they have, to the outside of the box. So they didn't bother to send me one that had filament in it already. This is the new auxiliary part cooling, so similar to that on the Neptune 4 Pro and Neptune 4, but it has 2 fans instead of 4. I'm a little surprised they reduced the number of fans for the bigger printer, but they are definitely bigger blower fans inside of here, so. All right, the mount for the touchscreen. spool holder. Fucking thread in there. Hello, welcome to the stream. Power cord. Hardware in a bag. Instructions. And yeah, that's just where the filament goes. So it looks like we got to get the Z Gantry out of here first. No surprise there. Get the Z Gantry out. It's also got the tool head in here. Maybe we'll take a closer look at the tool head here shortly. Oh yeah, it's totally separate. So we'll take a look at that in a second. Get this out of here. Because they improved the flow rate over the Neptune 3 Max with the 4 Pro and the 4. But they further improved things with the 4 Max. So let's take a closer look at this and get this wrapping off of here. So some neat features I've noticed or seen already about this. There is an accelerometer built onto the tool head. Focus. It's a little hard to see, but here on the board is an accelerometer. So this breakout board. It's not a CAN board, it's just a breakout board, but there is an accelerometer built onto here for input shaper tuning. And there's also an accelerometer on the bed of this machine for tuning as well. It's got the bamboo style of, let me get closer and then focus better. So we got the bamboo style of ceramic long melt zone heater in here. I did see Clayton, Uncle Jesse, noting that this is not a volcano nozzle. It's like an in-between size, so we're gonna have to take a look at that and try and figure that out. I wish I had a lathe so I could turn some volcano nozzles down to fit into here, because I really want some bigger nozzles for this, because this is a 0.4 millimeter, which for such a big printer, it needs a bigger nozzle. That's one thing I like the Prusa XL is shipping with a 0.6. Also, we got bigger part cooling fans, 4020s in here, versus the have to adjust the homing sensitivity. Yes, I know. They sent me the updated firmware, so we're going to do the firmware update. We're going to update the firmware out of the box on this. So I hate how much this Cylon freaking thing covers the nozzle on this setup, but it is what it is. All right, back over to the table. Yeah, I saw the sensorless homing is not properly configured out of the box. There is a firmware update to fix that, and they did send that to me. I could dive into Fluid and set that up, but I'm going to use the updated firmware that they provided, as that's what they requested that I do. This is not sponsored by Elegoo at all. They sent, in fact, I didn't even know this printer was coming. It just showed up. They reached out to me about it like a while ago, and I told them I'm not doing reviews anymore, and if they wanted to sponsor a video, I'd be happy to do like a video about how I print big things or something. And then we never came to terms on a sponsor deal, and then they just sent the printer anyway. So here it is. I actually got 4 surprise 3D printers this week. I know, very privileged problem to have, but it's also a very annoying problem to have. Oh boy. Okay. And that's it for the box. So we can get rid of this. And it'll just be piled up in the background for the rest of the live. And here is the heart of the machine. Aaron, welcome. How goes it? Doomed Paints, welcome. It is going. Starting to put together the Neptune 4 Max here. Ugh, switch camera angles. I want to pop the bottom off this and take a look at the electronics inside. So we'll do that in just a second. I'm expecting it's a skipper board just like every other thing lately, but I want to be sure. So kind of a bad problem to have if you don't have space. Exactly. I am out of space right now, and I literally, Anycubic sent 3 printers this week that filled my car because they all showed up at once. And that's another one where we didn't come to an agreement on a deal, and then they just sent things. So, I know, first world problem as hell. Oh my God. I hate the way they wrap these things. I'm gonna scratch the shit out of them doing this. I don't care. I so don't care. I hate the way they do this. The Z support rods, that it's arguable whether it needs them at all. I don't know why it always seems like a good idea to just throw stuff like this down in the moment when I know I have to clean it up later. But here we are. That was loud. Okay, let's figure out what board is in this thing first, and then we will get it set up. It's not scratched, it's custom. Exactly, I could scratch my initials in it, then it's like I signed it. I think this printer will end up finding a new home. No, not yet. Don't go spamming the chat asking me to send it to you. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, I have the Neptune 3 Max still, and I'm planning to Klipperize that myself with CAN and Revo hotend and various other things. So, not so sure about what I'll do with this one. You know, I'll definitely try and find a school or makerspace for it, I'm sure. But I want to look at the main board. We actually have Wi-Fi this time, so you don't have to go through that stupid USB thing like I had to do a video about on the Neptune 4 Pro. We also have way too many screws in this bottom panel. I just want to take the Boron Zero off your hands. Yeah, the C-board's got to find a home because I got to build the Physex one, and I don't want it. Got the M8P in today and started wiring on the 250 Trident. Awesome. Folks, if you didn't notice, Aaron there is the one who won the Trident that Steve and I built at Earth. And I've been seeing on Twitter, he's completely rebuilt it now. Oh, that's a great point. It'll be interesting to see my Klipperized Neptune 3 Max versus this Klipperized version direct from Elegoo. Yeah, because I'm gonna use the Big Tree Tech Pad 7. Hello from Norway, welcome. It's not a box, it's a cabinet. Yeah. I'm gonna use the Pad 7 to run Klipper on as the host. So I have a nice big touch screen. We're gonna run Revo with the LGX, full-size LGX extruder can on it. So, and linear rails. I'm converting it to linear rails too. You coming to Smurf? Yes, I am already. If you check the creator list for Smurf, I will be there. Yep, indeed. Already got my tickets, my hotel, all that. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm bringing to like showcase or anything. I'm definitely not building a printer, I can tell you that, but I will be at Smurf. So if you're in the UK or Europe in general, maybe consider coming on by and checking out the show. I'm hoping it turns into a really good show. I'm gonna get to hang out with friends and E3D and whatever anyway, so for me it could be a good time no matter what. But I hope it turns out to be a good show for the folks who attend and come check things out. So we shall see. Wait, Domenico, can I actually grab a drink? Well, I mean, I don't drink, but you're welcome to. I do drink energy drinks and water, so, and iced tea, but I don't think iced tea is going to be too easy to get in the UK. But yes, we definitely need to hang out. Absolutely. Why is this like stuck? That was weird. It like, oh, it's because the drawer. There's a drawer in the front. The drawer was catching. All right. Little 60 millimeter fan for cooling the main board. / host. Not the sugar stuff. No, not the sugar stuff. On the menu this evening, a big print. Yep. I don't know what we're going to print in this video, in this stream, but I definitely am immediately going to start a big print. We want Ruby wants a big cauldron for our Halloween candy for when kids come around this year. So we're going to be doing that. Okay, let me grab the other camera and we'll get a better angle on this. Switch camera angles real quick. Okay. Let me switch camera angles so we can see what's going on here. Mazel tov, by the way, thank you very much. Got the wedding ring on the finger now. It's just over a week. Monster and bread, yeah, the maker diet, you're not wrong. On your second print of your Neptune 4 Max right now. Awesome. Okay, so looking in here, we have a MOSFET, external MOSFET. So we've got a AC bed in this. Like I haven't looked at the specs of anything that much. So it looks like we got an AC bed in this version. How big a power supply? A 400 watt power supply. And just as I expected, it's the ZNP version of the, I just realized chat is covering the main board. So the main board is the ZNP version of the skipper board, exactly as I expected. I'm wondering, where's the Wi-Fi? Okay, it does have a Wi-Fi chipset on the board though, with Wi-Fi antenna that goes out to external. So cool. Exactly the same power supply as the SVO6 Plus. All right. I mean, even 400 watts is likely overkill for this, so I'm not going to be mad about an overkill power supply, that's for sure. So we do have an RJ45 connection and a external Wi-Fi antenna on here. eMMC storage on the board. Spare stepper driver. I wish they would set this up in so you could do Z-tilt, like independent Z steppers. I wish they would do that with machines like this, but they just don't. And filament run out. Okay, so nothing special in here. A lot of nothing. Better overkill than under spec. Absolutely. All right, put the bottom cover back on. Figure out where this fan plugs in here. Looks like probably here. Probably. Or there. I don't know which. I'm gonna go there. Hope that's the right spot because it unplugged when I pulled it out of here, so I don't know. I'll check that. I'll try and remind me to check that fan, please. Let's put this ridiculous amount of screws back in the bottom of here. Over engineering is always the way to go. I'm not going to argue with that, especially at less than 500 bucks. This thing's $479 or $470 flat right now. There is an affiliate link in the description if you're interested in picking one of these up. I obviously don't have an opinion about it yet, but just putting that out there. And yeah, so like, I'm happy to see overbuilt so far anyway at this price point. You know, for less than 500 bucks, don't do fluid updates. Yeah, I wouldn't do fluid updates. All of these machines, all these companies, they don't run mainline Klipper. And unfortunately, it's to their detriment. They really need to just fucking run mainline Klipper. But anyway, yeah, so I wouldn't do that anyway. Are the previous 3 Plus and Max going to get cheaper? I don't know. I know they are currently cheaper, but not by much. Like, so little of a difference that it doesn't make sense to me to buy those over this. So I don't know. When's Vez 3D coming? What do you mean? You mean when am I going to build a VZ bot? Whenever Simon sends me a kit. Or do you mean when are we going to collab on something? They're the exact same prices. I thought on the clearance page they're collab. We've talked about it. Simon and I have talked about it because he's in Quebec, straight north of me, like 7-8 hours away, or maybe a little more than that. Anyway, we have talked about it. But now Simon's moving to California, so who knows? Who knows? Actually, the reality is, it's likelier that I'll see him in California than I would in Quebec. So, do you like the Neptune 4 series? Yeah, I like the Neptune 4 series. Like, don't get me wrong, it's got things that I don't love about it. Like, yeah, I wish it ran mainline Klipper, but I understand why it doesn't in a couple ways. Like, Elegoo has created a pretty good interface system for this. I just got an Elegoo ad. Well, they know their audience. So like, what was I trying to say? Yeah, overall, like, I like the direction that Elegoo has gone with the Neptune 4 series. Elegoo has really stepped up their filament printers. Like, I had a Neptune 2 that I really didn't like. Not to say it was bad, it just, I preferred an Ender 3 over it. It just wasn't special enough for me to say, buy that versus an Ender 3. What is mainline Klipper? Okay, what I mean is that, there's Klipper firmware that the Klipper team produces. And then there are forks off of that, where a company like Elegoo or Cheaty Tech or FL Sun, no, you can't see it, the V400's right out of camera view. They all split off their own updates to the firmware. So they'll make their own interface for the touchscreen that's on this machine. It's not Klipper screen, it's their own interface software. So when they make those updates, they have to code that themselves, and they often have to make modifications to the Klipper firmware to make that work. Or they've only validated that their UI works with a certain distribution of Klipper firmware. So the problem comes in that all these companies do this, and I get why they're doing it. It's nice to have your own custom logo on it, interface for software. Or in Elegoo's case, the Neptune 4 series, they've done a really good job of making it user-friendly, making it accessible. It's like, yeah, it's like Slick 3R, Prusa Slicer, Bamboo Slicer, Orca Slicer, exactly the same concept. Yep. They all put their own little spin on it. Yeah, they all modify it to their own little needs, and unfortunately that means that you can't just get the latest update from the Klipper team, because very, very often, if you just update to the latest Klipper distribution, their UI will no longer know how to communicate. Like, something will break. And it's this problem where I get why they do it, but in the same regard, it also means that they're usually updates behind, like numerous updates behind. And so they'll miss out on like the latest and greatest tech or features because they have to update it and validate it and go through all these steps. So like, I understand why they do it, but I also don't understand why they do it. Paxam, please stop spamming the same question. I'm sorry, I can only answer so many questions, but please don't spam. Do you recommend the Neptune 4 for me? Would it be a first printer? I like the Neptune 4, and for an entry-level printer, a regular Neptune 4, yeah, I think it is a good starter 3D printer. Absolutely, I do think so. Jose, hello, welcome. Yeah, it'll make your printer non-work. Like, yeah. So if you get that update, or you install an update that just doesn't work, then you're bricked, and you have to go through a whole recovery process and basically completely reinstall Linux and all kinds of stuff. It's not fun. You either have cutting edge or a few updates behind. Yeah, that happens. Be careful of the glass door. Thanks, Clayton. I think I'm going to be okay. So I think I'm going to be okay. Unless there's glass here somewhere that I'm missing. Happened to me on my Neptune 4. Oh, totally. I can see it happening. I totally get that. You know, Clayton, I wish there was a glass door on this that I could break just so I could have my own meme like you did. Oh my God, the table's huge. Nah, this table's not as big as I want a table to be. I don't yet have an opinion about the 4 Max. I don't have an opinion yet about the 4 Max because this is literally me working with it. First impression, yeah, get a 4 Max. Like currently, the price difference between the Neptune 3 Max and the 4 Max is like, it doesn't make sense. They need to drop the price on the 3 Max and get rid of inventory, I think. We'll see if that happens or not. All right. World's biggest bed slinger. Nah, there's bigger. There are bigger. There's that ridiculous one from, what's its face, Comgrow. The 500, T500 or something. I swear they named it after a Terminator. We got those PLA shipping things underneath it here. Bed plate must weigh 2 kilograms. I don't know. It's it looks like it's probably 3 millimeters thick, so not terrible. Not like the not that what's the Anycubic Cobra Max has a 2 millimeter thick bed. That's ridiculous. I don't know why Anycubic did that. For that big of a machine, I understand reducing weight, but nah. Any update on my significant other's starter series? Yes and no. I have a video coming out tomorrow. This uses wheels. It is V-slot roller wheels. It does use V-slot roller wheels on the bed. It's got eight of them? No. Actually, it's only got 6 of them. No, sorry. Yeah, 6 of them. 6 V-slot roller wheels on the bed. And that is one thing. Like, when are they Palm PC? Don't know. A favorite Monster Energy drink flavor? The one I drink the most is low carb, the blue low carb. But I also really like, I personally really like Chaos, the like fruit punchy, not fruit punch, but like the, I think it's Mango Loco and Chaos are my 2 favorites. I think the Chaos is like the, it's kind of a fruit punch, but it's not. Yeah. No Monster only, no Monster around here. I actually tried switching to coffee. I tried switching to coffee and it gave me heartburn. So I'm attuned to drinking Monsters. Ultra Rosa for all day. Okay. Ultra Sunrise, these ones here. That's Ruby's favorite. Where was I going? Ruby's printer. I have a video coming out tomorrow about Ruby's printer. Sugar-free Monsters are the best. I try to drink only the sugar-free ones. Just keep my sugar down if nothing else. I have a video coming out tomorrow. New video on Ruby's printer. She's not in it, and it's not really the starter series thing. It's a P1P to P1S upgrade. I upgraded her P1P to a P1S. So that's a video I got coming out tomorrow. Let's see if this falls over. Yeah, it's gonna. Here's the fun part, trying to get the gantry on here. When will the 4 Max ship in the US? They're already shipping the original orders. I know an acquaintance of mine ordered one. He ordered one 3 weeks ago and it already shipped. So, Pipeline Punch. Pipeline Punch is tasty. I don't disagree with that one. The hard part right now with the Ruby starter series is getting her comfortable on camera. It's been a process. Like, she's good on camera. That's the problem. She's actually good on camera. She just gets psyched out about it. So, Uncle Jesse is loading up another print on his Neptune 4 Max. Have fun with it. Look forward to your video. I think ordering the Max was a mistake. It's huge. It is huge. That is one of the problems with printers like this, is they're just freaking big. There. That's the filament that comes with this printer. The P1S upgrades are hard to come by, always out of stock. Yeah, Bamboo had to find me one to make that video. Sorry, I bogarted one of the ones you could have had. Too many monsters making your hand shake? No, my hands always shake. Doesn't matter. Anytime I give up caffeine or not, it makes my what if I bring her into lives? We have talked about that. That is a great idea, I think. I think lives are less, like they're higher pressure, but they're also lower pressure in some ways. So that's been a consideration. We have talked about that. Getting her into a live. Switches camera. Bloop. All right, just need to make an adjustment there. I need a camera operator for this stuff. Waiting for the Neptune 4 Super Mini, Ultra Super Mini Pro. Yeah, I'm surprised that more companies aren't looking to do more of the small printers. You know what? I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, I made that whole video about how I really like the V0. Oh, I shouldn't have put, whatever. I put the Wi-Fi antenna on, but now I need it out of the way. Probably. Oh well. I'm not. Like, people always want a bigger printer than they need, which I understand. You don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck with a printer that's too small for your needs. Like, I get that. I don't know. I hope the stream is less bloody than Saw. I hope so too. Don't jinx me here. Which is better, the Cobra Max 2 or this one? I don't know. I haven't had a Cobra Max 2. They offered me one, and like I would have said yes to it, but I had a bad time with the first Cobra Max, and then having a bad time with the first Cobra Max plus the fact that like I'm out of space in here. I don't have room for more printers. So like big ones especially. I think 300 by 300 is the sweet spot. Yeah, I see why that is for most people. I totally see why that is for most people. For me, it's really not. It just isn't. Like, my V0 is one of my most used printers. Legitimately. Let's back this camera up and change perspective. So, I don't know. Like, there's no one size fits all. That's the thing. Like, different folks have different needs of machines. Different folks have different needs of machines, and that's just what it comes down to. VZ330. VZ330 seems like 30 minutes printer's not built yet. Hey, shush. We're getting there. We're getting there. Kind of, sort of. Persia Mini gets the most use in your cave, Andrew? You're like, yeah. That's kind of reality of like, for me anyway, the reality of printers I actually use. It's mostly my smaller ones. I really need to fix my V0. My 0.1 needs a little love. And I want to build another a 0.2-ish. Why are you being stupid? I don't think this is lined up properly. These extrusions, you can screw into the extrusion itself, not into the threaded point. Come on. Why is this not lining up nicely? This is the problem with a big machine. Even if you have the space to do this, it's still a pain. Come on. Gosh. Ay. Okay. Wish I had pulled out an impact driver right now. Yeah, and that's another point of like, oh, well, if you have a bigger printer, just fill the bed with what you're trying to print and get a bunch of them done at once. And I see for most people why that makes sense. For me, now, this is a privileged point of this is what I do for a job. So I'm always in my studio. I'm always around my printers. I'd rather do smaller prints and not worry about failures. If I fill the bed with prints and then I have a failure, I wasted a lot of time. Granted, there's exclude objects in Klipper now, so like that helps. But for the most part, I'd rather do small batches and just keep changing things over. I usually only run bigger batches overnight. Nah, it's not cross-threaded. It's just getting it lined up on this big damn machine is hard. Okay, there's that. It's the little one. Jeez. A plate full of parts is not optimal when you're iterating. That's also a really good point. I don't do production much. I do prototyping more than I do production. So for me, like the V0 is damn near perfect to just pump out a quick prototype. It's literally on my desk. So like, I have it there, right at my hand. I don't even have to leave my chair except for filament. The printer's almost as tall as you. It is not little, that's for sure. So, why did they limit the Z height on this? I don't see. They reduced the max Z height on this machine versus the previous one. The 3 is 500 millimeters tall. This is 480, and I don't see why. I don't know. Don't know. All right, motor connections, wiring. What do I do with waste prints? I save them. I've got buckets and boxes full of waste prints in the basement. I don't really have a good answer for that yet. I really don't have a good answer for that yet. Which, years into this, that I really should. Time, 36 minutes. I don't know about that. We're not there yet. We got to put the tool head on yet, and the screen. Screen's got to go on. So that's got to get mounted there. All right. I'm flying blind here. I don't care. Okay. LTT screwdriver. So, lttstore.com. I am not nearly as fluid as that as I should be. There will actually be an affiliate link to this. I am now an affiliate for lttstore.com via YouTube. So, did I look at your direct drive Neptune 3? I did. I looked at the files or what you sent me after that last stream. It looked good. I don't have one, so it wasn't really much of anything I could do with it. So, it looked neat, looked good. I love the idea. I love that you created something that, like, you don't have to buy some fancy parts or some really specific stuff for. Like, I like the idea. Just, you know, I cycle through printers so much at this point. I had a Neptune 3 forever ago, and it's long gone. Lucky they pick up plastics every 3 weeks. Yeah, but a lot of 3D printer plastics aren't commercially recycled. So like I could throw everything in my recycling every week. I get recycling pickup each week, but how much energy is this going to draw to print a benchy? That is a really good question. I was thinking that too, and I might grab the kilowatt. Maybe we'll grab a kilowatt and put it on this thing when I power it up. Yeah, like a lot of plastics they'll pick up, they'll just throw out if they're not recyclable, so. Uncle Jesse will soon present the Neptune 4 Max, but yeah, that's... it does have to heat the whole bed. After you finish the build, yes. It does have to heat the whole bed. This does not have a segmented bed, to my knowledge. Does not have a segmented bed, to my knowledge. You plug in there. Okay. Ugh, this thing. I don't even want to put this on. I don't even want to put that thing on. Okay, this is the tool head mounting. I guess we'll get to that now. I've been putting them in our recycling bins. Yeah, I guarantee you they're not getting recycled or not properly getting recycled, unfortunately. It's just the reality that a lot of recycling doesn't know what to do with the materials we use. Like PLA is not standard recyclable. What's the cable management on the screen? A joke. Not good. That's what the cable management on the screen is. Like, it's fine. All right. Tool head. Tool head. All right. This has got to go 1 screw through there, 2 from the front. They seem like really long screws for this. Yeah, those are way too long. What am I supposed to use here? I don't like putting this together like this. Maybe if you looked at the instructions. How dare you? How dare you? And that might be logical, but where's the fun in logic? Where's the fun in logic? Where is the fun in that? Okay, I'm a little better seeing what's going on here now. Oh yeah, these standoffs are a lot longer than I realized. Okay, I got it. I caught up. I have caught up with the instructions that I didn't read. All right, motor connector. Why is, damn it, you know what? Sorry. I meant to switch to this camera angle like minutes ago. Have you printed Hextraction? Nope, I've never printed Hextraction. I've never printed Gridfinity or any of Zach's stuff. Like, no offense to them, I print mostly my own stuff, honestly. Because I'm usually when I'm printing, it's projects I'm working on. So most of what I print is either like files for 3D printer builds that other people have designed or my own designs. All right, cable connections on. Now the strain relief. Yeah, maxing this out, definitely. I've heard amazing things about Gridfinity. It looks great, and I really need to organize the studio, so I should really look at it. Just never have. Just never have. In fact, part of what I was scrambling to get this live stream going was I was trying to find some stuff that I couldn't find because it's not well organized. And most post-consumer plastics don't get recycled anyway. You are correct. A lot of what we put into the recycling bins just goes in the trash. It just ends up in the same frickin' place. In fact, I've run into lately here in Philly, my trash, I put out a lot of cardboard because I get a lot of cardboard, you know, printers like this come in big cardboard boxes. So I put out a lot of cardboard each week, and the trash truck keeps taking my cardboard. They don't even let the recycling get to it. They just take it. I clearly separate. Like, my recycling's one spot, my trash is in another. It's very clear which is which. And they take the cardboard. So, just kind of how it works out, sadly. Oh, my neck hurts. I need to stretch. Okay. Let's get the 2 in the front on. Kyle Warren's attached together base plate. You can print Gridfinity on smaller printers with that one. Okay, cool. I need to look at it. Like, I work with Thangs. I should check out other Thangs creators. I just rarely get around to it. I really need to organize the studio. We've been kind of on like a weird hold of content lately because I'm trying to get some new stuff produced, like studio straightened up and organized, whatever. So, all right, I'm gonna mount this auxiliary fan. I don't want to, but I'm going to. I don't want to deal with this thing. Just don't. But here we are. Curious if it has all the keyboard characters. That'll be interesting. I was wondering that too when I saw Uncle Jesse mention that you can actually put in the Wi-Fi credentials on the screen. I too was wondering that. We shall see, because I have special characters in my Wi-Fi. I know that. We are going to do a yours is missing percentage key. All right. Some others. All right. We are going to do a firmware update before I get this. I've never suggested a printer like this is going to be the best one you could buy, but it's a good value, or like hard to argue with the value. I agree with that. I never ever suggest. I really think that big printers are secondary printers. I would never say. I understand. Like I get that some people could only have enough space for one printer. I get that. And it's hard to say, don't buy the big printer when that's all you can get. But like, I really, really, really think it makes a lot of sense to have a small printer and a big printer, not just a big one. Have I had any problems with the X-Max 3? Nope. I've yet to have any problems with the new X-Max 3. That's the old one behind me right there. I saw a few of the other people talking about them and having issues. I haven't had issues with mine. I guess I got lucky. I don't have a ton of hours on it yet though, so excuse me. Right back. I gotta grab throat spray. I'm gonna lose my voice. Well, you can still hear me though, so there's that. I meant to do this before the stream. I got some of this like throat spray like singers use when they're doing concerts. It genuinely helps. I've been surprised. It genuinely helps. Ricola, yeah. My voice hasn't been right since Earth. My voice has been messed up since Earth. So, okay, we've got the strut rods, even though I probably won't even freaking tighten them on. I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to do it this way. I don't know if it's the right way or not, but I'm going to do it this way. What do you think about the Rook? I think it's a neat idea. Is it glycerin and water? I think it's largely glycerin. Glycerin, water, honey, and aloe. So I'm sure the glycerin is the thing that's really doing it. But it works. All I know is it works. I'm sure I could make my own for the frickin' price of the stuff. It's not expensive. It lasts a while. Is it worth it to put in those special mellow gears in a Clockwork 2? I think so. I think that was a solid choice personally. I was quite happy with it. I've been looking to test that a little deeper. I'm going to be building another 2.4 where we're talking about testing some stuff. Like the Jason LDO wanted to send me the new, what do you call it? Nope, I don't want that over. I want that under. Galileo 2. Galileo 2 to test. So I could test out the Galileo 2 and the LGX Lite and do a little more deep dive on extruders. I don't know. We'll see. Did I get a tangible improvement over BMG gears? I can't say. I didn't test them back to back. I went from an LGX Lite to the Mellow gears, and I was happy with the LGX Lite, so I can't say. I did not test BMG to LGX Lite or to the Mellow gears back to back, so I cannot say, unfortunately. Would the wires catch and pull printed parts? Totally. I have a design. I have a cable management design that I made for the Neptune 3 Max that you could put on this. And yeah, that'll work well. Are those cheapy dual gear extruders on Amazon worth it? You mean like the Neptune 2 or the Ender 3 style ones? They're fine. They wear out. They don't have good bearings in them, so they do wear out over time. But I put hundreds of hours on one of those, and it worked fine. You just got to think about, like, it's going to wear. Neptune 4 Plus or V3KE? I have zero experience with the new Creality machines. I like the Neptune 4s. So, I don't know. Unfortunately, I cannot give you a better answer than that. Okay, so we've got cable management I'll get to, and we got the spool holder. Spool holder away from done. How far are we into this stream? Just under an hour. Hey, you were close to right. You were close to right. Get on there. All right. Yeah, is that KE that big of a bigger machine? I didn't think it was. Full spool faces the other way. Yeah, well, we'll get it there. Thank you. Have I tried a rat rig V-Minion? Nope, I haven't tried any rat rigs. I'd love to build a rat rig. Just haven't gotten to it. And also, I'm really at a point where, like, if a company's not sending parts, like, it's hard for me to justify expending money on build after build after build, just because these videos don't pay that well. So, yeah. All right, a bunch of little drug baggies left over. I love saving these things for hardware for projects. I have stashes and stashes of these little baggies from when I worked on cars because they are so useful on car projects. Where's the runout sensor? There it is, and screw fort's in there. Awesome. Do you really need rapid PLA? No, you don't. No. I'm not saying rapid PLAs don't do anything, like the fast PLAs, but you don't need them. We're going to print in this video, this stream, we're going to print with regular PLA. They didn't even send me a rapid PLA. It comes with a 0.4mm nozzle, unfortunately, and it is another unique nozzle. I'm a little irritated about that. I'm pretty irritated about that. Unfortunately, it is not. It's not even like one of the proprietary ones that's becoming common. It's yet another new nozzle. Let's take a closer look at the nozzle real quick. Volumetric flow rate, don't know. You know what? We'll test that in the stream. Let's print something. We're gonna print like whatever's on the SD card or whatever, and then we will print the. I want to check the switch on the power supply. It's on 230. Of course, it's on 230. But yes, let's do a volumetric flow rate test in this video, in this stream. I am really curious about that myself because I want to do a big print on this, so I need to know what it's capable of. Flipping that switch is awfully annoying. There we go. Okay. Yet another new nozzle. Yep. What PLA do I recommend? I print primarily with Polymaker personally. Let's go. This is the nozzle. I believe it's just a hair shorter. Let's get even closer. It's just a hair shorter than a volcano nozzle, I believe. And it's got this like non-threaded section at the top. So really weird, unfortunately. Not Kano nozzle. Like, I think if I had a lathe, I could turn regular volcano nozzles into this shape easily, but I don't, unfortunately, so. Focus, yeah. Let me grab a, supposedly they're working on new nozzle sizes, but yeah. Let me see if I can find a volcano nozzle real quick. Oh yeah, it's actually longer than a volcano nozzle. Just a hair longer than a volcano, so I'm wrong. I couldn't turn a volcano nozzle down. It's actually longer. Let me, once again. Okay. This one is the Elegoo nozzle. This one is the volcano nozzle. So, hard to hold these and show you that they're different lengths, but the volcano nozzle is actually like a millimeter shorter than the new Elegoo one. So, unfortunately, it's the same M6 thread, it's just a hair longer. Realistically, you could probably make some type of like spacer, like middle finger proprietary nozzles. Yeah, unfortunately, it's becoming so much of a thing now. I don't disagree, but part of what I'm looking at here, personally, is I think there's room now to put a regular volcano block in here. And I might play with that. I think there's space in there to put a regular volcano block in place of this and skip this bullshit. But let's see what kind of flow rate we get out of this. Maple Leaf makers, welcome! Let's see what kind of flow rate we get out of this setup before we go to, you know, planning a whole new setup. Screw in the, well, the thing that I'm concerned about screwing it in further, this nozzle already doesn't protrude very far down below this cooler. So there's one problem of screwing it in further. And there's a shoulder on the new nozzle telling me that there's probably a spot where it's not threaded that it's meant to go into or something. What's with all these proprietary nozzles? Flow rate. They're all trying to get flow rates better and better on a budget. 5 millimeters cubed per second's good? Okay, Mitch. They're all trying to get better and better flow rates on a budget. So I don't know why, like, the FL Sun B400 has a super basic volcano setup, uses regular volcano nozzles. It flows well. It's got a knockoff CHT in it. It flows like 25 to 30 millimeters cubed per second. I don't get why every machine can't be that way, but here we are. Okay. The only thing I didn't do is cable management. We'll get to that. I want to print my own cable management. My design I like better than theirs. My own personal design. So I think we're ready to power it up. And then we got to load up the new firmware. Where's the power cord? I had a power cord out here. Yeah. I had to look at what I got to do to... What's the flow of a regular Revo 0.4? I just tested the Obsidian Revo 0.4. I just tested that on my Mercury 1.1 this week, and it was 15 millimeters cubed per second. So pretty good. I would say, I think the regular Revos are somewhere around 12. 12 to 14, pretty good. Copperhead CE, Bontex CHT, Volcano Performance, eh. Okay. Power plugged in. I gotta look at the firmware stuff real quick. I wanted to get that done before stream, like looking at it anyway, and I didn't. Pretty much everybody who's done an update has been unhappy. Yeah. Oh, kilowatt. Yeah, okay. I got to try and find the kilowatt. It's somewhere here. Let me look at the firmware update. We'll worry about getting the firmware update going on this thing. Then I'll go find the kilowatt. Because I'm worried the firmware update may take a minute. Thank you for the reminder. What the heck is this? An XML? Why is the firmware update instructions in XML format? Copy the upgrade folder to the root directory of the U-disk. So this. Okay. Cool. I've got that on there. Now I got to load up the firmware onto this thing. Formax firmware. Elegoo, I fucking hate that you do this. They put every file. Okay, I gotta put the whole update directory on the... They put, like, I like and hate that they do this. Elegoo puts... When you download a firmware update, they put, like, every firmware update on there, and so you don't exactly know which one is the latest version. Let me check my email. Make sure I know what one's the one that they wanted me to install. I've told them this numerous times, that they really need to date their firmwares, like in the name of it or something. Not just an obscure file name, because it's like 1.2.3, but 1.3.2 is the newer version, but 1.4.2 is the older version. Like, it's always something dumb like that. And yeah. What about using GitHub? Same thing. They like, sometimes they'll upload the file. It's weird. It's hard to explain, but it's weird. Okay, let me just double check. 1.2234 is what I should be putting on. Okay. That's the one I just loaded up on there, I believe. Yep. Okay, copy. Put this onto my damn drive. Paste. Double check these instructions. Copy it. Okay. Eject this. It's got the update on it. All right. Put the U-disk, as they keep calling it, the USB stick, into here. Grab the screen. Britt, welcome. It is rather large. Yes, this thing is not small. The bed is bigger than 420, so I wager they knew exactly what they were doing. Oh, calling it a 420. I said that in my review of the Neptune 3 Max. It is bigger than 420. They did it for the memes, I think. Which is funny. Like, it's funny to me that a Chinese company knew the meme well enough, I guess. Or somebody in their team did. System is currently starting. Please wait. Okay. So, Klipper's booting. What slicer can you use? I'm going to use Any chance you can toss that firmware file somewhere? Let me double check. It's not available yet. They're usually good about that. Elegoo firmware. Not the official. They don't put it on their official, which is dumb. There's actually their developer posts their firmware. Oh, I guess they haven't yet. Okay. Huh. I will see what I can do about that. Maybe I'll put it on my GitHub. It is not Marlin, it's Klipper. It is not Marlin, it is Klipper on this machine. Okay, about machine. Firmware. Firmware files. Wow, this is an easy update. Updating firmware. Cool. I'm going to use Orca Slicer. I'm probably going to set up Orca Slicer on the stream for it, too. So, all right, let me find the kilowatt while the firmware is updating. Let me look for the kilowatt. It's around here somewhere in the disaster that my studio is. I know my kilowatt is here somewhere. I'm not seeing it. It's not where I thought it was, so I don't want to spend the entire stream just looking for the damn thing. Yeah, I don't see the kilowatt. Sorry. That's going to have to wait for a video about this machine. I'll probably end up doing a video where I like just print something really big or something like that. Just to firmware update completed, restarting device. All right, now we got to update the screen. Cool, that's done. Touch screen update. When the machine is normally used, blah, blah, blah. Format TF card. And which firmware do they want me to put on the screen? 1.2.9. Okay. Amazon says the 4 Max will be released October 22nd. Maybe they're getting inventory, don't know. They haven't really been doing Amazon. They've been selling direct. There is an affiliate link in the description if you want to pick one of these up. I don't have an opinion about it yet, but here it is. All right, firmware restart. Cool. All right, we're going to power down, and we got to get to the screen then. I do wish that they put an externally accessible US slot. That's what I mean, a slot. So we can get to the screen. All right, I got to get into here so we can upgrade the firmware on the screen, and then we are ready to roll. Print House is sick but here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Under 500 bucks. Yeah, $470 for this thing. Like, Elegoo has been like powerhousing the value printers lately. They're not the best, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of little things that are wrong about them. But like, I can't argue with the value, what you're getting. Best slicer for beginners. I want to say Orca, but realistically, it's the slicer that comes with your printer. They're never the best. They're definitely not the best. No printer, except for like the Bamboo or a Prusa, ships with a slicer that's actually good, unfortunately. But for a beginner, it's best. Just is. You know what? This is just sitting here spinning, I think because we haven't updated the firmware on the board yet, or on the touch screen. So I got to get a... Oh, there's a TF card right here. Are the palm wheels a big drawback for this machine? Yeah. They're probably one of the biggest drawbacks about this. Isn't there an SD slot on the front? No, there is not an SD slot on the front of this machine. It uses a USB stick to load files instead of a SD card. But it doesn't matter anyway. We need to update the firmware on the screen, which is separate of the machine. So that's what we're working on right now. But yes, for a beginner, realistically, I just recommend the slicer that came with your machine. That's all there is to it. Like, no, it's never going to be the best, but it works. You always go back to this Prusa. I've been always going back to Orca slicer lately. For the longest time, it was Prusa slicer for me. And I still use Prusa slicer, but I find myself just using Orca more and more now. Honestly, you know what the biggest feature for me that Prusa slicer needs, aside from a device tab. I love a device tab, that's great. One perimeter on first layer and one perimeter on top layer. I do that all the time with Orca. I don't know why Prusa slicer hasn't integrated that yet. It's like the only thing I really wish they did. Okay. Firmware file is on the SD card for the screen, and the SD card is updating. Cool. How did I go from working on cars to 3D printing? Because of cars. I got into 3D printing because I wanted to 3D print parts for the cars I was building, because I was a custom car builder. I wasn't like just a mechanic. No offense to techs out there. So I wanted to be able to custom print parts for the cars I was building. Got into 3D printing to do that and prototype stuff and design parts and whatever. And then 3D printing totally took over my life. My content, I've been making content around, I've been a content creator for 6+ years now. And I was making car content for the longest time. And it just never really hit. It was doing okay, but it never really hit. And then 3D printing content immediately took off. Immediately people were interested in 3D printing way more than they ever were in cars. And here's where I am. I should try Orca when I get my printer back online. Don't ask. Okay, I won't. You should try it, yes. Why is the 4 Pro a segmented bed and this beast not? I don't know. That is a really good question. The only thing I can think is because it's an AC bed. They didn't want to do multi-segmented AC bed? I don't know. Didn't realize they did custom stuff. Yeah, I was a 3D printing seems cheaper than cars. That is definitely a big factor of it. Is making car content. To make car content, you have to build a car. All right, update's done. To do car content, you have to build a car. And building a car is expensive and requires a lot of space. So like this studio is 600 square feet. I could build a car in here. I could do it. But the problem is that is all I could do. I could make videos about one car and it would take up this entire space. Whereas, is the stream outputting at 30 FPS right now? I'm not streaming at 30, I'm streaming at 24. I should be streaming at 24. Yeah, I'm streaming at 24. Japanese key car, yeah. If I was doing anything as a street rod, which, yeah, would take up a lot of space. Your studio is only 100 square feet smaller than my apartment. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, like I can fit 30 plus 3D printers in here and make content still. But yeah. Audio and video are not in sync. It's because I'm using, the cameras are on one feed and the audio is going into the laptop. I'm sorry. I didn't have time to sync them up properly before the stream. It's probably only a few frames off. Sorry. Let me see if I can adjust that real quick. Probably not. I don't know how far off it is, so I can't adjust. I'm sorry if it seems out of sync. It is what it is. Would I rather have this or a smallest Voron? I would not give up my V0 for this. Like, I like these things, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, I would not give up my V0 to have this. If I had to be stuck with one 3D printer and only 3D printer, thank you for letting me know. You're the first person to mention it being off, which I get. I expected that was going to happen, but here we are. Where was I headed? If I had to have only one 3D printer, it'd probably be my Voron 2.4, honestly. But my V0.1 would be right there. And bonus 3D printers, your studio is the warmest room in the house. It is not. It helps. It does help. It totally helps, but real prob, hello, welcome. It helps, but because this is an uninsulated block garage, no. Unfortunately, it costs a lot to heat this space. What do you recommend as a good printer for less than $700? It depends on what you want or what you need. Like, there's a lot of great printers under that price point, but they're going to have different use cases. That's the hard part about recommending printers is I don't know what you do. Like me, prototyping parts on a regular basis. The Voron Zero is a great printer for that. P1P for that price, you can get a P1S for around that price too. The P1S is what, $699? Yeah, it's $699. So like it's just under that point. The P1S is probably like the do-it-all printer under that price point. If you're willing to spend that much money. So yeah, hard to say. Okay, we are up and running. I couldn't find the kilowatt, so we're gonna have to do that another time. I couldn't find it. It's somewhere in the studio, but the studio is a fucking disaster right now. Yeah, I'm literally gonna have an assistant coming in to help me organize. I've got to get a new organization system. I really want to get a couple more toolboxes for my background of my main filming area, so I can like put parts and tools into the toolboxes, like 3D printer parts, and organize things. But yeah, here we are. Just watch somebody print a giant... Oh, I gotta get the Wi-Fi set up. Okay, I will let you know if it has all the characters. How come you did a firmware update? There was a homing issue. It has sensorless homing. And 1 second. Why is it showing 2 of my... Uh-oh. There we go. I was going to say, are there no special characters? I couldn't find them for a second. They didn't load. I just want to look. Still no percentage sign. Sorry. It gets very grumpy sounding, yeah. Oh, you might be right. Is it 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz? You might be right. I'd be surprised if this has 5 gigahertz, but it might. Does Prusa Slicer work with the Elegoo Max? Yes. Prusa Slicer has an Elegoo Neptune 3 Max profile already in it. That's what I used with the Neptune 3 Max all the time. Are you loaded? I think I'm on. That's dumb. I can't back out once I select it. My own dumb fault. I clicked my Wi-Fi again. So I have to enter my password again. Actually, it's showing 4 instances of my Wi-Fi for some reason. Whatever. Updating. I am connected. Cool. Boom. And I got the IP address. Buy a kit. If you're asking whether or not to buy a kit versus a... well, I reviewed the Cobra Max 2. Now, they offered to send me the Cobra 2 Max, and I turned it down. I don't have the room. I just don't have the room to keep getting all these printers. I'm out of space. I've got to get rid of a lot of machines. So unfortunately, I turned down the 2 Max. Buying a Voron kit versus parting it out yourself. Buy a kit. Just buy a kit. How many boxes of printer kits do you have in your garage? 4 or 5 right now. If you count actual kits. If you're talking about just piles of parts that I could build printers out of, countless. And then I've got these two printers behind me here I got to scavenge parts off of. Okay, I'm going to get this loaded up in... 1 second. I want to save this in... I might as well load up Orca Slicer and show you, see if I can screen share here. I wish I could adjust a scene while I was in it, but I can't. Okay, I'm just going to set up Orca Slicer real quick. Oh, Neptune 4 Max. 192. Cool, connected. Okay. I'm going to adjust settings real quick because this is not going to be the right settings since it's... I'm actually using right now the profile for a Neptune 4 Pro is already in Orca Slicer, so I just blew it up scale-wise. What's wrong with the X-Max 3 on the floor? That is the original X-Max 3. That's the X-Max 3 Revision 1, which had frame issues. It's got like a plastic frame. It has a 3 Max profile, yes, but I'm using the 4 Pro profile to build a profile for this, so it already have the speeds that Klipper is capable of set up. You're thinking of getting one. I have a video showing the X-Max 3. My video about how to make money 3D printing, there's a sponsored video about the X-Max 3, but it's the new one, not this one. This is the Revision 1. I have the Revision 2. I really like it. Some folks have had bad times with the X-Max 3. Mine has been great. So... I think I just saw Stefan put out a video today using the X-Max 3, actually. What kind of speeds are we set up in here? Very conservative. I would call those speeds very conservative, Orca Slicer, but all right. All right. I just want to get into... Let's home all. All right. Sensorless homing is working. It's not working on the Y-axis. Oof. And that'll be a printer shutdown. Oh, no. Wasn't specifically about the printer. All right. So they still need to get that... They still need to improve that. Let me check the firmware, make sure it did update properly. I thought it did. No. The UI firmware updated, but the actual firmware version didn't update. That's the problem. Printer go brrr. Yeah. Why didn't the firmware update? It's on the frickin' stick. Now I can put the cable management on. Did you say I need to get rid of a few machines last time? I say that every time. I haven't gotten rid of nearly enough. I've gotten rid of, since the last time I streamed, I probably got rid of, I think I got rid of 1 printer since the last time I streamed. And I had 4 new printers show up this week alone. So, we're not doing so good. I think I'm currently at 30. All right. No, of course I can't do that. Where is mainsail? Or fluid, sorry. I freaking wish, I wish it had mainsail. Could go a little further on the bed, but all right. Is LDO kit best? LDO makes the best quality kits, yes. LDO definitely makes the best quality kits. The price reflects that, but they do make the best quality kits. All right, I do not like their cable management. I have my own design that I will be putting on here, but for the moment, I'll put it on just to get this going. Just to get us going, I'm going to put it on. Yeah, get in there. Did anybody else get an ad? The ads are... YouTube has been changing things, unfortunately, so like I can't disable ads entirely, I think. It was weird. YouTube Premium. Yeah, I have Premium as well. I freaking adore it, but I consume a lot of YouTube content, so. Alright. Alright, I want to see if I can update the firmware, because it didn't update. Let me check this stick here. Maybe I did it wrong. Neil Stewart, welcome. Check this USB stick. Ugh. Yeah, YouTube did us all the favor. I tried to keep my maybe I'm supposed to put this all in the root directory? I'm going to copy this and put it in there. So now it's in both places. Yeah, YouTube did the favor of taking the control out of our hands, unfortunately. The YouTube's been fighting against ad blockers. Like, it's hard for me to support ad blockers. Like, I get it. I totally get it. YouTube ads are freaking annoying and they're only getting worse. But it's also how I make my living. So like, it's hard for me to say use it, but like, I just enabled this week YouTube memberships. So if you want to help support me, and then I can be like, oh yeah, use an ad blocker. I don't care. I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. I get it. I've had Premium for years, so. Well, I had it when it was red, and now I have Premium. I think it's totally worth it. I consume a lot of YouTube content, though, so. I watch YouTube much more than I watch TV, so. App Louis Rossmann just made. Haven't seen it. Everybody tries to start these streaming things, and unfortunately, like, they just... It's hard to fight the juggernaut, you know? Is there a Manic really Discord? No. I don't have a Discord. YouTube Music recommendations are some of the best. Yeah, I listen to YouTube Music every day. I don't know that it's the best, but like I have it with YouTube Premium, and I listen to it all every day, all day, without ads. I love it. It's not perfect, but okay. Now we updated firmware. I screwed up the firmware update. That was on me. I screwed it up. I put the folder that they told me the files were in on the USB stick. I actually had to take the files out of the folder and put that onto the USB stick. My fault. So firmware is now properly updated. Finally got an Anycubic. What'd you get? Okay, force refresh. I think I need to restart now, though. I'm gonna restart, freshen up, and then we'll get to printing. I got this beautiful blue Elegoo filament they sent with this. Oh, a curator. Okay, I'll have to look at that. I don't really watch Louis Rossmann's videos. Like, I love what he does. His presentation style is just, it doesn't work for me. No offense to him, it just doesn't work for me. Just not my thing. Anyone know of a non-slow Neptune 4 profile? Yeah, I'm looking at that. Their Neptune 4 profile on Orca Slicer is slow. Lewis always looks very tired. He's fighting for all of our right to repair rights. So, like, I get it. That's a very tiresome battle. That's a very tiresome battle. He's making the app open source. That's cool. Oh, okay. Refresh. Are you not? Oh, shit. I know what's wrong here. I'm like, why can't I access it on the... I think I power cycled too quickly. Definitely don't agree with him on everything. Yeah, he definitely gets a little out there on some things. I get it. Like, I do get it. Take the USB out before the firmware restart? Possible. No, it doesn't auto firmware update. I had to manually firmware update, so... I think the problem is that I power cycled it too quick. The screen didn't fully turn off before I turned it back on. Yeah, I lost the Wi-Fi credentials. That's exactly what happened. Because of the firmware update, I lost the Wi-Fi credentials. That is exactly what happened. So, now we gotta wait for Klipper to boot, because that's one of the joys of Klipper. It's not a instant, quick, right up and running again. Your stream keeps freezing. Let me look at the... According to YouTube, I'm getting good... good data transfer rates and everything. I don't know. All right. Let's get this back on the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi antenna's there. I don't know why I'm holding this up like it's a phone. Alan! What? Top printed upgrades for an Ender 3 Pro. The Hero Me toolhead setup. The Hero Me toolhead setup is great. Better part cooling, lots of options for hot ends and extruders and all that. Hero Me. That's my favorite add-on for a... Klipper is in every video I see. Is it really that good? No. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not perfect and it's not amazing. I use it because I'm an enthusiast and like it's easy for me here in the studio to Wi-Fi access everything. And I also change things so often that my ability to access the configurations and make quick changes is really helpful. I miss Marlin in a lot of ways, like startup, boot up. I miss just flipping a switch, the machine's on, hit a file, and it runs. Like, it's not always that easy with Klipper. Let me get in here. Oh, huge filament jam on your Cobra Go. Sorry to hear that. I don't have a Cobra Go, never have. It gives you more freedom, but it doesn't mean it's necessarily better. Agreed. Don't expect Klipper to be trouble-free. Agreed. I love Klipper, but it's definitely more of an enthusiast thing. I like... This is back to the whole, like... happened multiple times to you, too. That's great. It's back to the whole, like... mainline Klipper versus branches. Like, I think Elegoo's done a really good job of implementing Klipper because they intend you to run this machine through this touchpad. And at which point, it's like running Marlin on here. Okay. All right, time to print something. No, home again. Let's home again and see if it crashes. And then I gotta do bed level and set our Z offset, and then we can get to printing. I use Octoprint. I was never a fan of Octoprint, honestly. I was personally never... Well, they got the X and Y much better. X and Y are much better, but boy did Z not like that. It just jammed the nozzle into the bed. What's my opinion on rat rig? Never built one. Can't say. I'd love to build a rat rig, but I just never have. Centralist Z, I guess. It uses the Z homing probe. Z probe for homing. So it homed fine on the first go round. It's a CNC router now. Yeah, it's a router now. It just only routes the bed. It's a routing chisel. It uses the nozzle to scrape away material. Let's look in the config. I'm going to look in the configuration. Stepper Z. Where's the probe? Safe Z home. I see that. Where's probe? Probe. Okay. Seems like it should be fine. I do not have any CNCs. I don't have a mostly printed. Nope. Okay, I'm going to home X. Then I'm going to home Y. I should have zip tied this cable. It's now stuck in there. Texture lines to the build plate. That's a good point. Oh, it homes at the front now. That's weird. All right, X2 207. Okay, get that out of there. Y 207. Oh, negative. Boop. Why is Y being weird? Let's try home all again. And be ready to power it the hell off. Nope. Okay, now Y is not properly homing. I think we might have to dive into the config. Y seems to be backwards. It seems to be inverted. Yep. It seems like Y is inverted. Yeah, it seems like Y is inverted. So once Klipper's back up, I will dive into the config and try reversing it. Maybe cable wrong side mounted. The Y motor was already wired. Y motor came wired, so, and it worked before the firmware update. So seems like they yet got a little something off in their firmware. Reload here. Where's Orca? Boop. Let's reload Orca. Stepper buzz. Yes, I could do a stepper buzz. You're right. Klipper stepper buzz. Good call. Stepper buzz Y. Do that in a second after I get into fluid. Refresh. It's being a little weird. What's stepper buzz? Stepper buzz is a command you can do in Klipper that will rotate the stepper just back and forth a hair so you can confirm that the motor's behaving properly. It's getting proper commands. It won't tell you if it's moving the proper direction. They have a new CFG with the new firmware. Okay, I might have missed that. That is likely what's going on here then. For some reason I can't load. I'm power cycling this thing too damn quick. You figured out why your screen was freezing. Why was it? Okay. Let's try this again. I keep flipping it off and on, power cycling it too fast, so like it doesn't properly shut down. Let me see about that new that printer CFG. It's weird. It would invert the logic on the. I'm not saying you're wrong. I believe you. All right, I see the updated config. I'll upload the updated config. Rename. Old. Save. Let's upload the new config and then restart. This should have happened with the whole update process, but it's possible that I screwed it up. All right. Now we should be able to do a firmware restart. And be back up and running. Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to try X. Okay, X is good. Let's try the stepper buzz Y first. All right, stepper buzzing Y is working well. Oh, you have a separate window open for the chat, which is causing the issue. Got it. Okay, stepper buzz is working fine. I'm just going to send it again before I invert the logic, since I just uploaded a new. Nope. I don't think it homed properly. All right, I think we are still inverted for some reason. I'm going to invert direction and save and restart. I'm just going to try this. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but this is one of the things I love about Klipper and hate about Klipper. Is this is probably an issue with like Elegoo being new to Klipper, is my guess. And this being like a machine that's barely out there yet. Okay. Let's try home again. Nope. Inverted direction is still not working. Let's try going to 250 now. Okay. So it is working. I'm going to try homing Y again. You know what? I think I know what's wrong here. Homing positive direction? I've never heard of that string. That's not how you invert homing logic. Oh, okay. Homing positive direction false. That's weird. I think what's happening here is the virtual end stop setting is too. I think it's sensorless homing. It's sensorless homing. I think they went too. I think they overcorrected. I believe that's what's happening here, because when I try to home it from here, it just goes home. So I think it ain't got no gas in it. Yeah. I think the problem is these settings are too sensitive now. I'm looking for the settings. Is it in the PLR config? I think it's too sensitive is the problem. Should be in the TMC settings. It's not. Virtual end stop is set there. It's set to virtual end stop, but it is not set. It's not set to... Am I looking at this wrong? Possible. Yeah, no, there's no sensitivity settings set up in there. It's just set TMC 2209 virtual end stop. That's it. Could be a sensorless CFG, but it's not included in the config. Let me look. Nope. I'm going to look at an older config. There are a couple older configs in here. I want to look at an older one and see what might have changed. Enabled pin is backward, is inverted. Heard of the sniper whiff situation? Unfortunately, yeah. Ugh, this is not helpful. Why is it fucking not homing? Oh, saved variables? What's this? Nope. Monkey Butler Labs with the super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you for the stream. Thank you. Thank you for being here while I dick around with config files. Very uninteresting content. I'd rather spend the extra money for end switches. I don't know why they eliminated the end switches on this. I don't know why they went sensorless. It's not like they needed to. All right. Driver SGTH, yeah. I'm not seeing that defined anywhere currently. That's the problem is I don't want to just go defining things in the config because I can't find where they have it defined. Okay. Wait, I see it now. Their X and Y are set to the same. Don't you love playing QA? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I mean, I play QA on printers a lot because I'm usually getting them before they get released. So, which way do I go to? I've never tuned sensorless homing. I've always just used it in Klipper. I've yet to tune it, so. Welcome to the Neptune 4 QA family. Welcome. Hey. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. A bigger value, lower number, more strength. 255 is most sensitive, 0 less. Let's go 75. Seems like it's probably too low, but we're going to give it a go. Seems to be, currently it seems like it is too sensitive. Haven't even gotten the basics right, unfortunately. Yeah, yours is at 90. Okay, try 110. 110 is what it's at. 110 is where it is, and it's too sensitive. I probably jumped too far. Let's go a smaller jump. Why is Let's try 90 then. Mercury 1's at 85, yeah. Okay. All right, let's try. X is homing fine now. Klipper's rebooting. All right. Okay, X is homed. All right, Y is homed. Will with the super chat. Appreciate the stream. Thank you very much. All right, so 90 worked, and it homed nicely at 90. But I think I need to re-invert the logic now. I inverted the direction, so I'm going to fix that. That sounded gooder. Yes, it did. That sounded a lot gooder. So we are currently at 110 on X and 90 on Y. I don't know. I will let Elegoo know that I had that issue after this stream, and hopefully they can do further testing to correct that. Okay, let's try homing X. Okay. Homing Y. Okay. Now, I'm going to figure out Z. Prepare. Level. Are you going to crash on me? Prepare to flip a switch. Hey, Z homed properly. The problem with Z homing before is that the sensor was off the edge of the bed because the Y wasn't working properly. It's more gooder. Screen's blue? No, it just kind of appears blue to the naked eye. I'm going to use this to level with. All right. How far is that nozzle off the bed? That feels pretty good. All right, now we're gonna home. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Now we need to manually level. All right, I'm gonna switch camera angles and zoom in. Yeah, it's focused. Okay. All right. If you change Z, don't forget to save config. You don't have to do that through. That's something that their UI on the screen handles. That is something that their UI on the screen already handles itself. But thank you. All right, that's pretty good. Don't tell me this uses wheels to adjust the bed. I like that it has wheels to adjust the bed, personally. I'm not a huge fan of only auto leveling, personally. A bed this big could be manipulated by the way that it's mounted, and that matters. Unless the only reason I would be cool with a rigid bed, excuse me, the only reason I'd be cool with a rigid bed would be like an MIC6 bed, like a big heavy bed but pretty much guaranteed to be flat. It's about the only thing, personally. Okay, and it also just leveled out really easily. Okay, cool. We are good. All right, and we're going to do an auto level run, and we can print. This really needs my strain relief on it. I told Elegoo I should frickin' tell Elegoo to pay me licensing rights and include my design on their frickin' printers. Same problem that the 3 Max had, this one does too. Confirm. All right, now it's going to do an auto level run. How does it utilize 6 leveling knobs? It manipulates the bed. I mean, the bed's thin enough that the bed will give via those 6 knobs. What are you printing first? Whatever's on the SD card or the USB, whatever. It's preheating the bed. I like that. I really appreciate that. It's preheating the bed to 60°C. So it started heating the bed already. The hot end's already up to 140. Let's stopwatch the bed. We're going to do an auto level run. What are you printing first? Oh, you already answered that. Yeah. Yeah, we'll print something off of the USB stick first. I think it's one of their Elegoo Buddhas is on there, and then we will do a flow rate test. $30°C on the bed. The screen does magnetic to the pad, yeah. Yep. I didn't expect this to be a 2+ hour stream, but here we are. Yes, I can, you're right, I can PID tune it, and I can, yes, this has Klipper firmware. I can do input shaper tuning through the touchscreen interface. Should I? Probably. Screw it, I guess we will, yeah. I was going to say I'm not going to do it, but fuck it, let's do it. Holy notifications on Twitter. Why do I have so many notifications on Twitter? Elegoo does plan to have nozzles for this. I believe Uncle Jesse already was informed that they are working on bigger nozzles for this. Really disappointed that they're launching without them. Yeah, I don't see a ton of actual stuff on Twitter, so I don't know what the heck. 43. Still not the fastest bed heat. They do plan to have bigger nozzles, but as of this moment, they don't, unfortunately. How about hardened? That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. That would make sense. It'd be nice. It'd be great. But I haven't found out about that. So let's make some notes. Some notes for what I need to talk to. Well, I'm just going to start drafting my response email to Elegoo. I have it open here. So nozzles, hardened and bigger. Homing, sensitivity, still bad. Cool. Nozzles, the ink cartridges of 3D printing. Yeah, buy a whole new 3D printer to get a nozzle. We actually just got rid of, we had a large format printer, like paper printer, and we just got rid of it, and we were looking at having it serviced. I was given it. It was given to me by a friend. So it was like a 36-inch wide by, infinite length printer for printing like posters and stuff. And it, they launched the 4 and 4 Pro without nozzles. The 4 and 4 Pro uses spider nozzles. That uses available nozzles. You're right that Elegoo unfortunately doesn't have replacements on their website, but replacement nozzles for the 4 and 4 Pro are available. So that's a thing. Because that uses a different nozzle than this. Yeah, the 4 Plus and Max use a different nozzle. No, it wasn't a plotter. 55C, it was like a poster printer. I guess kind of like a plotter. I don't know. It didn't cut or anything. It just printed. It was just a large format printer. But getting it serviced, it was going to cost us $3,000 just to have it like a few minor parts replaced, and that wasn't including ink. Ink was like $2,000. I'm like, and a new printer, a new version of that same printer was like $5,000. So I'm like, why wouldn't I just buy the new printer? It's just amazing to me that even a large format printer is the same as the smaller ones. Would the display work to put on a different printer? No. It's specific to this machine. Both in connection to the board, it uses a coax or a RJ11 cord for the for its connection, and the UI, the actual software on it, specific. For being an AC bed, this is not that fast. I mean, a big bed takes a long time to heat up. $59C. I wonder if the auxiliary part cooling is quieter on this. Possible. It does have the 2 larger fans versus the bigger ones. We'll find out. 59C. 1 more degree. You can do it. 1 more degree. There we go. 6 minutes and 45 seconds from ambient room temp, which was about 22C, to 60 degrees C. Do you think it's possible to bump the bed temp? What machine are you talking about bed temp wise? Oh, double check if the bottom fan works. Good call. Good call. Thank you. It's not on right now, but I don't know if it's supposed to be on right now. I would think. How much do you think the auxiliary cooler really helps versus bigger fans on the hot end? I don't know. I really don't know. I think I would have preferred just bigger fans on the hot end personally. I haven't tested it thoroughly enough. I run the Neptune 4 Pro. When I print with that machine, I turn off the auxiliary part cooling. I don't worry about it. The 4020 fans seem to do pretty well on their own. So, I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I haven't tested it thoroughly enough. CPAP is just not beatable. Well, yeah, but it's also loud. I'm going to be running CPAP on my next build. Now we just have to wait for the infinitely large bed mesh. Only 121 points. I mean, I'm not going to be mad about a good bed mesh, but if a machine could ever use camp Klipper adaptive mesh, it is this. Yeah, this machine really needs Klipper adaptive mesh. The Cheedy X-Max 3, the new one, comes with that pre-installed. I wish this did. Granted, this is also the initial like configuration effectively, so it's probably going to run that no matter what. Oh, heck. Time to get a cup of coffee, indeed. Is it compatible with Klipper plugins? Great question. I'm going to find out. I'm going to try and install adaptive mesh, not on the stream, but I will be trying. I will certainly be trying to install it, that's for sure. Have you heard of the beacon? Yeah, I have a beacon floating around here. I haven't used it yet. I have one here. I haven't used it yet. Oh. My next 2.4 build is going to have one. If the version's so old you might not be able to, absolutely. I don't know what Klipper version it's on. It's probably V10, which might create an issue. I do not like fluid. I don't like fluid. System. What Klipper are we on? Yep, we are on V0.10, just like every other one. The beacon doesn't play well with magnetic beds. No, it plays fine with magnetic beds. It needs to read off of the magnet or the... Yeah, I don't think exclude object will work on here. Could you sideload mainsail? Yes, I could, and I will. I did it on the Neptune 4 Pro. I had sideloaded mainsail on that. Where was I headed? Yeah, I can't, it's on an older Klipper version, so you're right, I can't set up exclude object, which this could really, really use. Oh, the max bed temp on this is 85, but it's not enough for ABS printing. I wouldn't want to ABS print on this open bed anyway. Why is the build volume smaller on this? On the Neptune 4 Plus? I don't know. I don't know why it's smaller on this either. It doesn't make sense. There's no real reason for it. No real reason for it to be that way, from what I can see. After having made the level with the adjustments on the plate with the sheet, with the automatic calibration of the level compensate for the errors? Yes. So that's why I like having manual adjustment on a bed like this, is all auto leveling is doing is creating an image in the slicer, in the firmware of the bed topography. So it's compensating for any little inconsistencies in the bed. If you don't have manual adjustment, if you are rigidly mounted, you always have to compensate. That's it. The machine is going to rely on that first layer by the firmware, and that's that. Whereas if you have manual adjustments, you can do your best to create a good manual adjustment and then give the auto calibration a better starting point to build off of. Does that make sense? Like, if you manually level well, then the auto leveling doesn't have to compensate as much. Can this be controlled from your phone or a slicing app? Yes, it can. I'm currently in Orca Slicer accessing this machine. I don't know about a phone app. Well, you could phone app in, yeah. You could mobile rake, yeah, mobile raker. You could just load up the existing fluid interface on your phone. Like, I could do that right now. I still have a stopwatch running. 192.168. Bloop. Switch cameras. So I've got the interface pulled up right now. I just press the button on my screen and now the machine's gonna home. So yes, you can. Okay. We're ready to print. Let's load up filament. Well, you folks wanted me to do input shaper tuning. Let's do that. It's in the menu system, so I want to check that. Oh, it wants me to check Z offset. You're right. It does want me to recheck my Z offset. Wow, why is it way the fuck up there? Oh, I screwed it up. Because I just hit on my phone and told it to home, I screwed it all up. Shit. Let's go Z0. All right, saved. Save config. Does the normal 4 have input shaping? It does not. It has input shaping, it's just pre-calibrated. So yes, the normal 4 does have input shaping, but it's pre-calibrated. It is not, like, this can do fresh input shaping tuning right here and now. So, which, let's go into the advanced settings. Speed adaptive mode. What's that? That's a new one on me. Input shaper. X-axis. All right. It is testing the X-axis. Start detection. And here we go. Input shaper tuning on the X-axis after it homes. Do you think it's worth the upgrade from the 3 Plus? Ooh. If you're happy with the speed of the 3 Plus, okay, you want your answer about whether or not the auxiliary part cooling on this is quieter than the 4 Pro? Yes, it is. It is quieter than the 4 Pro. Honestly, your biggest difference between the 3 Plus and this is going to be the web interface built in with Klipper and the speed of its printing capability. If you're okay with the speed of the 3 Plus's printing capability, like where you're at with it, it's not worth the upgrade. If it had a wider range of nozzles available, the higher flow hot end, I would say, is worth it. But, yeah. Are you really the... Oh, no. Okay. Whew. For a second, I thought it was the slowest input shaper tuning on the face of the planet, but it doesn't seem to be. That's good. I'm going to switch to the camera angle, even though you're not going to be able to see what's happening here. You can't see that it's vibrating back and forth really freaking fast. What's my favorite brand to buy 3D printers from? I don't buy 3D printers for the most part. That's not saying like I get sent them. Like I build most of the 3D printers I really like. Right now, they're not perfect, but I've been happy with Elegoo. I've been happy with what Elegoo's doing. They're not perfect. They're absolutely not. But they're doing good things for the value that they are charging. And I've been largely happy with my Bamboo Lab printers too. I have plenty of gripes with the Bamboo printers as well, but I still overall like the products. So the 100 project, is that like the is that a version of the Rook? I seem to remember you messaging about that, but I don't remember. What did I want to look at? Fully printed frame. Cool. I'd love to build one of those machines. I just don't have time anymore. Like my schedule is so hard to fit things in and like plan this stuff at this point. We're working on that. We're trying to make things more streamlined, but I'm working on it. Oh, this is neat. Okay. It actually gave me in console, it gave me all the, I really want to share console with you. Give me a second here. I've really got to get. Can you hear me now? There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Blip. Okay. Sorry about that. No? No, yes, no, yes. Now, yes. Okay, cool. Okay. Looking at the chart here of the input shaper graph, or it basically gave me the input shaper graph in console form here. So let me highlight it real quick and take a look at like their recommended acceleration values. I'm curious what it's saying for X. I don't know what it ended up going with. Shaper calibration written. I could go in with WinSCP and look at this, but I don't care to right now. Max Excel 12,000, 7,000 seems to be its recommended acceleration. So, all right. Now we're going to Y calibrate. And back to this screen. 2 hours in, no print yet. Hey, you didn't say anything about how long it was going to take to get to a print. You do have to bear in mind this. Like, this whole process would go a lot faster if I wasn't sitting here talking to you folks. First print is going to be the Buddha on the USB stick, which I'm going to take the firmware off of this just in case. Oh, sure, blame it on us. You're my scapegoats, all right? Also, I didn't intend to do input shaper tuning. Somebody asked that I do it, so we're doing it. Wait. I almost deleted the G code I wanted. Two monsters, that's a lot of caffeine. That's about a typical day for me. That's about a typical day. Okay. I'm gonna look in console quick where we're at. Four pint cups of coffee a day. Whew. I think that's probably about equal caffeine. Please no benchy. We're not doing a benchy. We're gonna do the there's a Buddha, one of their Buddhas on the SD card. We're gonna do that. Andrew Rogers with the super chat. Mazel tov. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, 1 week and 1 day, or it'll be 1 week and 1 day in 2 hours. So almost a week and a day married. Life is exactly the same. So, but thank you very much. Okay, now I'll switch to water. Can't even have coffee after 5 p.m. Sleeping. Caffeine doesn't work on me. I have severe ADD, and caffeine just balances me out. So G code won't have input shaper tune. No, it will. Input shaper is saved in the printer config, not in the G code, so it won't matter. What are my thoughts on the Creality CR10 S5? Too expensive. Like, don't get me wrong, it seems like a solid enough machine, but like, it's more than double the price of this machine. Why? The only thing that's changed in 15 years is she cooked a lot more, so I put on the weight. I want to look at what the recommended acceleration values on the bed are. Whew, not that fast. 1700 is the lowest. 2700 and 1700. So, yeah, not amazing accelerations on the bed, which is to be expected. It is a big, heavy frickin' bed. I'm curious what the input shaper values saved as. Input shaper value, 2-hump EI on Y and MZV on X. What are our acceleration limits set to? All right, I'll pick apart the config another time. That's not for now. UK store has a CR10 Smart Pro at half price. I don't recommend the Smart Pro. The Smart, like, it's just not a... The Smart was not a great idea on their part. Let's prepare. Temp, preheat PLA. All right, let's get this thing heated up so I can load up the filament and actually get a print out of this thing. Caffeine does diddly for me too. It just keeps me focused. Same thing for me. You probably have ADD like me. I can drink caffeine up until like midnight, and when I work a long day, I can drink it up till midnight and go to bed very shortly after. The Smart Series was a very smart idea indeed. Yeah, sure. It's just a CR10 with a crappy Creality clout. My opinion is that the Smart Series came about because they couldn't get rid of their... They're still selling the OG Ender 3s. You are right, they are. It came about because they couldn't get rid of their Creality cloud boards. They couldn't get rid of the Creality cloud boards, so they put them in the Smarts to get rid of them. I'm a developer. Caffeine's part of the job. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to load filament. Extrude length. Let's go 50. Extrude. It's pushing out red filament, so they pre-tested the hot end. All right, we got filament loaded. We are ready to print. Let's put in the USB stick and get this thing loaded up. Print. There we are. It didn't detect the, took a second to detect the USB stick. 40 minutes. I don't know about that. It says it's going to take 40 minutes for this. We are going to push the speeds, I think. I'm watching shorts right now to calm my ADD. I don't blame you. I'm not great watching live streams myself. I usually, when I have lives going, I'll have a live on, I have triple monitors on my computer. I'll usually have a monitor up above with like a live stream on, and then I'll be working on the other two monitors. It's the only way I can watch live streams, personally. It's... I didn't need to do that, but I did. My favorite Creality printer. Honestly, legitimately, I'm still partial to the original Ender 3. I get that it's like so outdated, but it's such a platform you can build atop of. It's still my personal favorite from their brand. I'm not a huge fan of the K1. I have one. I have barely used it. The build quality on it is like really good, but also really not great. So it's like weird. My Ender 5 Plus is right off camera here. Actually, I can do that. While we're waiting for this thing to get ready on this print, I haven't moved this camera at all. I don't know why I bothered putting it on the slider. You can just barely see it at the corner of the screen there, but my Ender 5 Plus, my Mercury 1 build, I quite like it, but it's a Mercury 1 build. It's not... Why is wire caught? Thank you. There we go. Now let's rotate the camera toward the... Why are you being weird? Oh, I see why. The HDMI cable's hitting. Oh, that's not working. Sorry. Hi. As this travels back by. All right, what are we waiting on right now? The bed is 1 degree away from temp. Boom. All right. Whee! Here we go. You're all going on a ride with me. I should have been using the slider this entire freaking time. I forgot. Printables Prusa Slicer direct input or instant import? Never tried it. I didn't know it was a thing. All right. Purging. Oh, I like... Well, no, it's not purging where I want it. Oh well, it's purging. We're off to a good start. All right. Let me get that second camera angle set up to a better view. Grinding the printer makes when homing. Well, the new firmware update somewhat fixed that, but also didn't for me. It's just the sensorless homing sensitivity being wrong. I gotta talk to Elegoo about that. They need to improve that. Gotta get the LEDs on. Why is this touchscreen not... There we go. Okay. Honestly, this auxiliary part cooling is not as bad as I expected it to be. Gotta go. Thank you for being here, Liam. It's printing at 100 millimeters a second, 130 millimeters a second. Ah, it wasn't at full speed. It's still not... I think the Pro auxiliary part cooling is worse. I think. Is the motherboard fan working? Don't know. Good question. It is not. I probably have it plugged into the wrong port. Thank you for asking. I'll have to check it after this. I'll check it after stream. How fast are you printing infill? That looks... I swear Fluid is not as responsive as Mainsail. Infill's printing about 180. Liam, see ya. Thank you for being here. How's the Klipper setup on this? It's okay. So far the what do you call it? Sensorless homing is still not great. Sensorless homing still needed a little work. What would be the best printer for TPU? I've had really good luck printing TPU on the Neptune 3 Max. Just this Neptune extruder system works pretty well for TPU in my experience. I can't say it's the best by any means. The Prusa Mark IV seems to be a pretty good setup in theory. I've also seen people have issues with that. I don't know. What's the easiest printer to set up right out of the box? I don't know. The Bamboo P1P or P1S? Or the Bamboo X1, I guess. The Creality K1 is pretty much the same setup process. Yeah, I mean the Bamboo, the Creality, the Cheetah X Max, they all pretty much come ready to run. You have to remove a few screws for shipping things. He went from half an hour to 2.5 hours. Hey, I didn't say half hour. Other people said half hour. Spring England, hello! I think we can push this a little faster. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. I just pushed it to 175%. By accident. I swear. Now we're at 150% speed. What kind of layer heights is this running? It's hitting 270 millimeters a second speed. Can you try filament run out? That is a good question. I will try that, but not yet. It's supposed to be able to print up to 500 millimeters a second. Yeah, questionable. I don't trust the print number speeds from pretty much any brands. Oh, you got a Cobra Go in replacement for the Rostock. Okay, well, glad to hear you have an option. Try to build the Nextruder on a Voron? No. To my knowledge, the Prusa has not released the files for the Mark IV or the XL yet. The CAD files for us to be able to do that. They haven't released the files, so they're not truly open source at the moment on the Mark IV or the XL, unfortunately. I'd love to play around with that stuff, but yeah. It's hitting 400 millimeters a second, probably in travel speed. But I just saw 405 in fluid, so. Have you looked at the Trudon? No, I haven't looked at those. I mean, I've seen them, but I haven't really looked at them. Who's my favorite YouTuber? Good question. Definitely not myself. I don't know. I don't really know. I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't watch many 3D printing YouTubers because I don't like to watch what other people are doing in my niche because I don't like that to inform what I do. You know, I don't want to be influenced by what somebody else in 3D printing is doing. I do watch Daniel, Modbot, and CNC Kitchen and such, but I watch Simon. Simon's doing different stuff than me for the most part, you know, so I do watch Simon. I watch Joel too. I guess I do watch a fair bit of 3D printing YouTubers, just not a ton. Philip Bloom. I really like Philip Bloom. I call him the YouTuber's YouTuber. You got the Cobra Go for 110 bucks at Micro Center. That's awesome. Nathan Builds Robots is funny. Nathan's humor is not my cup of tea. No offense to him. He's a good dude. Like, from my interactions with him, he's a cool dude. Like, I've met him in person at Earth last year. He was cool. He was in the booth next to me. Just not my cup of tea, comedy-wise. I'm telling him, go ahead. I talk to Nathan from time to time, but yeah, just everybody's got their own tastes comedically. Mine are more on the dry side. I like British humor, you know. Are you excited for Sanjay Mortimer rep? Yes, I am. Smurf. Got my channel accidentally. Now you're a big fan. Thank you for being here, Salt. I appreciate that. I am really excited for Smurf. I have no idea what to expect from the show, but I am excited to check it out. I've never been to England, so I'm looking forward to that. Ads kicking in again. How often are they playing ads on this damn stream? Oh, ADD is kicking in. Got it. My humor's so dry it's mummified. See, that's how I like my humor. I don't know. No ads for you. Yeah, I love YouTube Premium. I am a big fan. We're at 150. Let's go to 175 on speed percentage. You've been getting ads every 15 minutes. I need to look at the settings. That doesn't seem right. I'm watching speeds to see how fast it gets. 242, 473. That's got to be travel speed, but hey, we're almost at 500 on travel speed. Brave browser, 0 ads. All right. My boss loves the work I do, but is terrified of me and customers. Yeah. I was always difficult with customers. Like, I'm just not a people person. Uh-oh. That is my fault. That print just failed because of my fault. Who wants to guess why it failed? Klipper just shut down. You want to guess why? I'm going to look in the config for the fan. Mobo fan. You got it. It's because I have that Mobo fan plugged into the wrong port, so it overheated a stepper driver. Because I didn't have that fan on, and I was being dumb. So, yeah. My fault. All right. I got to get in there, get that. I got to fix that. How the heck is it going to make sense to get into this thing? I think we're going to flip it up. This away. Let's see if this works. Yeah. I do not want the bed to do that. There we go. All right, I got to get back in here. Now that I've already been in here once, I'll only put a couple screws back in this. This is where we see smoke coming out. Yeah. What was your first 3D printer? My first 3D printer was an Ender 3. My first printer was an Ender 3. Let me turn this camera real quick. Try printing like that. It looks interesting. Yeah, I don't think the bed would like that very much. Had a feeling that would happen. Yeah, I overestimated it. I overestimated myself. You know, it was probably mostly because I was pushing the speed percentage up. I had the speed at 175% when it just failed. So, that's my fault. We're not going to print one of those again. We'll do a flow rate test after this. Who needs a bottom cover? Yeah, I had the one off of my 2.4 for a long time. But on a 2.4, it helps with airflow. How do you like the LTT screwdriver? I adore the LTT screwdriver. I really like it. Would you pay? I bought my first LTT screwdriver. They gave me this one at LTX. They did give me this one at LTX. But I bought my first LTT screwdriver. That's actually how I ended up going to LTX, is I made a TikTok about my actually liking my my LTT screwdriver. I bought it full price. I pre-ordered it when they first came out, and I legitimately liked it. I made a video about it saying that I liked it. It got a lot of views on TikTok. LTT took note, and then I ended up at LTX. But yeah, I legitimately like it. I think it's worth it. It is pricey. I get it. It is not a cheap screwdriver. I do get that. I used to sell tools. You know, I'm a former auto tech, former custom car builder, so I have a lot of expensive tools. And I think it's legitimately better than a snap-on screwdriver that's more expensive, or pretty much any other ratcheting screwdriver I've ever used. I legitimately like it. I have a third one on the way. This one I have only metric bits in. This is my one for working on 3D printers. So it's got all metric hex bits in it. And I'm going to set up another one with all standard hex bits. So, drivers got spicy. Yep. Yeah, overheated stepper driver. It's fantastic for anything other than super hard work. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be tightening in like big industrial screws or something where the plastic gears might be under too much of a load, but if you're doing that, like, I would just run them in with a screwdriver and then use a ratchet or something to tighten. So Snap-on's more brand than anything these days. You know, not gonna argue. I sold tools for a little while. It was something I did, selling tools, and kind of always felt that way. I sold Matco tools, so. Okay, now, where the heck is this fan supposed to be plugged in? Because I plugged it into the wrong port, most likely. That's why. I plugged it into the into the frickin' thermistor port. That's dumb. Fan 6. There are 2 open fan ports. Oh, fuck me. There are 2 open fan ports, and I don't know which one this should be in. Anybody have one of these they could pop a bottom cover off of? I'm kidding, but I'm also not. There's 2 open... Actually, there are a bunch of open fan ports. Huh. There's actually 4 open fan ports on this thing. I'm going to go with fan 3? No, there's hot glue over fan 3. It can't be that one. Probably fan 6. Let me see if powering it up, if it just kicks on. This is my fault. I didn't pay enough attention when I pulled the bottom cover off. This is my fault. There it is. It's fan port 5. Fan port 5. Or is that 4? No, fan port 5. My fault, but we got it fixed. All right, I'm going to put 1 or 2 screws in this and we're done. What brand is the ratcheting screwdriver? It is LTT. It is the LTT screwdriver, lttstore.com. Not sponsored. They did give me this, but not sponsored. Yet. Had another advert. Why are there so many freaking ads? He said the words. He said the words. Yep. Alright, I'm just going to put a minimum number of screws back in so we can get back to this and actually get a damn print out of this thing. Luckily, that fan is wired. I'm glad that fan isn't wired to a control port. It's just an always-on port, because I wouldn't have known otherwise what one it was supposed to be in. Boop. Boop. Cool. All right. Now we can flip this back up and get back to it. Okay. I gotta get the print off the bed. Haven't had a single ad watching on PC. Huh. Well, the print quality on this print was looking great before it failed. Even pushing the speed way up. Let's like, print quality was looking great till it failed. Because of me. It was my fault that it failed, so. My thoughts on the original Ultimaker printer? Interesting, neat. It's massively out of date. I'd like to build one just for the hell of it. I thought about doing that. Building because I have the laser cutter. I have the magnet on there. I have the X-Tool P2 laser cutter, so I thought about cutting my own wood panels and everything. Where did I just drop that? There. One of my screwdriver bits fell. The Buddha file always prints really well. Honestly, yeah, it prints pretty darn well for only getting that much of it done. What do you think about the VZ bot? Really cool. I would love to build one. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but I'd love to. Cool. Oh, son of a bitch. I actually could have recovered. Power loss recovery is trying to kick in. I just want to see if it's going to start extruding again if I just hit it. Let's find out. I don't think it will, but what do you think about selling on Etsy? It's cool, but I don't know. A lot of trouble, you know? Favorite budget filament brand on Amazon? I use Polymaker. I almost exclusively print with Polymaker. It's not really budget. Sometimes they have sales on Amazon for like 15 bucks a spool, but not often. But I almost exclusively print with Polymaker, so. Is power loss recovery going to work here or not? I don't think so. Unable to open file. Yep, nope, not going to work. Okay, that would have been asking a lot since it wasn't a power shutdown, it was a Klipper shutdown failure. Oh, hi, Gene. What are you doing? Do you want to come up? Come here. Come here. Come say hi to everybody. Okay. I'm going to go jump into... Yeah? You don't say. I'm going to jump into Orca Slicer and set up a racetrack. Let's do a flow rate test. I'm going to go from 10 to 30. I don't think it's going to do it, but in 1 mm/second increments. I don't want this to take all damn day. What do you think about the filament profile program of Bamboo Lab? I don't know. Wort Zooey, thank you for being here. See ya. Thank you for being here and being so active in the chat. It has been appreciated. Yeah, Bean. I have no idea what this filament wants to be printed at, but I don't have time to tune filament, that's for damn sure, so. Yeah? You don't say. Oh, okay. One of the cats is out here talking to me. Hi, you coming up? Come on. All right. Yeah. Upload and print. Let's see what happens. I haven't really created a profile yet, so... Yeah. Come here. Come say hi. Oh, the printer's scared. Yeah. Please don't rub on me because I have a microphone strapped to my chest. Polymaker PLA wants 200 with fans on. I print like 215, 220 with Polymaker. Depends. I tune in each one. She thick? No, she's a tiny cat. She just looks thicker. She's a very vocal cat. She is very talkative. Aren't you? What are you doing? She's actually not that big. Her sister is thick. Want to talk to people? No? You just want to chirp. This is Jean. Jean Gray. Say hi. And bye. We actually have a character that I've yet to introduce to videos. I've been meaning to forever. We designed her forever ago. It's an alien cat named Jean. Kind of inspired by like Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Or not Pinky. Brain. The Brain from Pinky and the Brain. Like a little alien cat who's stylized after her. With my logo on its head and whatever. My wife designed her forever ago. And we've been wanting to like hire an animator and put her into videos so I can like have a little cartoon character to play with and talk to. So it's not just me talking at a camera the entire time. Would you folks actually find that interesting? I think it's fun. But I'm also a child. I'm an almost 40-year-old child, so. Do you like Star Wars? Love Star Wars. I'm quite a fan of Star Wars. We're talking about going to, for our honeymoon, we're talking about going to Disneyland. And I really, really want to check out Galaxy's Edge. That's what I'm most excited about going to Disneyland. Need it? No. Fun shtick? Yes. It's just meant to be a fun shtick. It wouldn't be like the center of the videos, but like a little just fun thing included in the videos. Did you get hair in my eyes or something? While hilarious, I don't think the ROI will pay off. Understandable. Yeah, and that's a thing. For me, it's down to the ROI on it is merch. No, like, if it works well enough that enough people connect with it, who wouldn't want, you know, a video with a cute, or a t-shirt with this cute alien cat character on it or something? Yeah, I didn't get the bed settings right. It's printing in the corner of the bed, but that's okay. It'll still work. I just, I don't think I saved the bed dimensions properly. No, I didn't. On this profile I'm creating. I wish I would have done it properly, because then it would be a huge one taking up the entire bed, but here we are. Ah, damn it, it keeps resetting. This is my fault. I'm not saving this profile properly. Save. Can it do 100 on the bed, or is there a limiting factor? How much is this printer? It's $470. $470. Is there a limiting factor? My only thought as to why they would limit the temperature on the bed to only 85 is down to my estimation as to why they would do it is that it probably doesn't have a thermal fuse on the bed. So they're probably worried about thermal overrun getting too hot. So like, you know, if it ran away, the bed could get way too hot. That's my estimation as to what why they're doing that. Let me look in the config. It's got to be just config limited. I don't see any reason why I couldn't bump it to 100. Actually, no. It's not config. It's not limited to 80. It's set to 100. In my config, the bed is able to reach 100. Plus says 110. Yeah. Yeah, so this is set to get to 100 in the config anyway. I don't know why this skirt gets nasty sometimes. I'm gonna need to reset Z offset, but any idea on the PSU rating? I showed the PSU earlier in here. It is a 400 watt unit. I don't remember what brand it is, but the bed on this one is AC. How much space does it take up on the desktop? That's a good question. I want to say it's about 36 inches front to back, because the biggest problem is the bed traveling all the way front and back. I'd have to go measure the... If you check my Elegoo Neptune 3 Max review, it's the same mechanical system. I'm pretty sure I said in the 3 Max review how much space it takes up. And it's a lot. That's one of the biggest issues, is these machines just take up a lot of desk space. Yeah, I just baby stepped my Z offset and it's looking better. I had my Z offset a little tight. As we're printing just in the corner of the bed over there because I set the profile wrong. What's the biggest project you've made? Honestly, depends how you quantify that. Physically biggest thing? I don't know. I printed a bunch of big stuff on TikTok, like my 250% barrel and such. I'm going to be printing some pretty big stuff on this in the very near future, so look out for big things. How long is the initial homing and setup after you assemble it? I don't know. It took us 30, 40 minutes to get things kind of ready to go. Prusa Mark IV versus Voron Trident. Two totally different animals. Is the heat even across the bed? I don't have a thermal camera to say. It feels maybe a little cooler at the outer edges. So it's like any bed. All beds are going to be warmer in the middle than the edge. But definitely some noticeable difference. I really haven't printed that big of stuff in multi-piece. We're going to be doing a lot more of that in the near future. I really want to move the channel to more making things, so we're definitely going to be printing bigger stuff on the channel in the very near future. Prusa Mark IV versus Trident, back to that. The Voron Trident is going to be an enclosed machine, so if you're looking to print higher temperature materials and you want to print faster, Trident. But building the Trident, you have to build the Trident, so there's that. I mean, you have to assemble the Mark IV if you buy the kit, but assembling a Mark IV versus building a Trident is different. Not massively different, but it is different. I haven't assembled a Mark IV, but I did a Mark III. I don't know why the skirts on this print always get funky. Am I still on layer 1? No. Oh, that was still layer 1, okay. Here we go. I just built an LDO 2.4 and I'm trying to install a filament sensor on the Clockwork 2. Can I? Thank you for the super chat, James Warwood. Can I do it on the breakout board for the hot end? I do not believe so. There's no additional wiring on that I know of. I'm trying to think. I have one here to look at somewhere, but no, there's no additional wiring for that, unfortunately. Yeah, you're trying to do a Enraged Rabbit carrot feeder, I assume? Or you just want the filament runout sensor? If you just want the filament runout sensor for runout and not for the Enraged Rabbit, you should put the runout sensor in the reverse Bowden tube, further away, because putting the runout sensor in the Clockwork 2, it's never going to work for actual runout sensing. It's more of just a filament detector that it's there. What 3D design software do you use? I use Fusion 360. That is what I use. How long is this print going to take? 20 minutes. It says 20 minutes. But it might fail before that, as we're trying to test the limit of this printer, how hard it can be pushed, so it might fail before that. Yeah, if you want filament runout for the sake of filament runout on your Trident, or your 2.4, sorry, I would put the runout sensor like on the back panel or something. You'd have to run the whole cable through the chain, yep. Yeah. What filament would you recommend for a car wheel arch extension? That depends if you plan to coat it and do that. You're running a Severu, you're running a smart filament sensor. Yeah, I'm going to be putting a smart filament sensor on my Mark 1, my Mercury 1.1. I've found an issue with my Mercury 1.1. I have the orbiter sensor, and because the orbiter sensor is mounted to the orbiter, it doesn't trigger fast enough. Just don't use it with TPU. That makes sense. Because the orbiter sensor is right at the top of the extruder, by the time Klipper senses the trigger of it running out of filament, it's out of filament. Like, it's printing in thin air by the time Klipper triggers. What GPU do you use? I run the I run a 3090 Ti. Yeah, I have a 3090 Ti that I'm running. Did I need a 3090 Ti for that? No. I don't need that much horsepower for modeling. I needed that horsepower for video editing, actually. This camera that I'm talking to you on right now records in 6K. And I had a 3080 before, and that only has 10 gigabytes of VRAM. So the 6K video footage would actually would need more VRAM than that. So that was an issue. Neptune 4 Max or Cobra 2 Max? I don't have any experience with the Cobra 2 Max, and I only just unboxed this, so I can't say. Onshape or Fusion 360? I've only barely played with Onshape. I really can't weigh in on that. I like Fusion 360, it does what I need, and Onshape for my purposes is significantly more expensive, I believe. I think, isn't Onshape like over $1,000 a month or a year for the license? 4 is faster. Okay, I haven't compared the Cobra 2 Max enough. I turned it down. They offered to send that to me, and I turned it down. I just don't have enough space for all these printers at this point. What would be a good part to start testing with for printing Voron parts? The Stealth Burner Shroud. The Stealth Burner Shroud has overhangs, it has bridging. That's a really good part to test to make sure your settings are dialed in. And it's also not dimensionally, like, it's one of the parts that you can get away with not being 100% dimensionally accurate on a Voron. So that's a really good one to test. I actually use the Stealth Burner as a test print. It doesn't take super long to print, so it's not gonna waste a ton of time if it's not going well. It's a real world object with hard corners, rounded pieces. I think it's a really good test print. It's like the Voron Benchy, totally. I think it is. I legitimately print it as a test print. Isn't Onshape free to use? I think it is free for hobbyists to use. I am a business is the problem. Yeah, non-commercial projects can use it for free. But you can do that with Fusion 360 too. I'm not a non-commercial business. I produce designs for commercial purposes. So for me, I'd have to at least have the $1,500 a year license. I use the commercial plan with Fusion 360 is like $375 a year, $400 a year. What filament should you use for a Voron? ABS or ASA is what it is intended to be used with, and you really should do that. I use ASA personally. I really like Polymaker ASA. It's what I print with most these days. Back to chat. Let me catch back up here. Hey, why is the chat... This chat is just streaming here for me. Siemens Solid Edge. I've never even heard of it. I don't know why, but the chat is so not caught up for me. Live chat. Boom. Okay. You've had bad warping with cheap ABS? I can believe that. I think the Neptune 4 Max is better because it's got Klipper and the better cooling. I would agree that that makes sense. How do you get your 3D printing gigs like the Ring camera adapter thing? Honestly, that came to me via a friend. I don't seek out business like that much, so I really don't have good input on that. I'm sorry. I wish I had better stuff, but... free Onshape means public files for the most part. And see, I can't do that, because I do client work sometimes. I also design my own stuff for release through my commercial licensing program and all that. So for me, I am a commercial user, so. I like Sparta 3D, Sparkle ASA, 20 bucks a spool, that's cool. I'll have to look into that. Oh, 30 for a kilogram. Okay, that's about what a Polymaker costs, so. Yeah, I'm sorry, I wish I had better input. People have asked me to do a video about that, like the, how I get clients. I don't have good answer, unfortunately. C10 bezel video was great. That one really underperformed. I thought that was going to do better than it did. I was hopeful it would, and it really didn't. Yeah. I am absolutely... The future of this channel is more practical using 3D printing. Even if it's artistic, like making an art project or whatever, we're going to be doing more making with 3D printing in the future. That's where I want this channel to go. I don't want to be bogged down in talking about printers in every single video. I love it, but I want to just make stuff. I just want to build cool stuff. So, you prefer my makes and builds? Cool. That's where I want to keep going. I want to keep doing makes and builds and less reviews, and yeah. It'd be great if the Elegoo cross-pollinated that with the car guy stuff. Yeah, and that's kind of the problem. I would prefer if this had the linear guides. I would prefer if this had the linear guides like the Neptune 4 Pro has. Unfortunately, they didn't do it. I understand. It's a bigger machine. It would have added expense. And I think they were trying to stick, you know, under a price point. They wanted to stay at the same $470 price point, I'm sure. So, I understand it, but this filament smells weird. Debating putting linear rails on my Ender 3 Pro. You're going to lose build volume on the y-axis by doing that, but all right, how fast are we extruding right now? All right, I'm starting to see under extrusion at 25 millimeters cubed. Yeah, I'm seeing clear under extrusion at 25. So, not terrible. I need to grab a pair of calipers so I can measure this real quick. Oh, calipers. Calipers. This is the extrusion test from Orca Slicer. Yes, this is the Orca Slicer extrusion test. Flow rate test. Yeah, totally failed now. How do you store filament? Yeah, it was just said there. Not bad, not great. Yeah, I was hoping for a little more, but that's not terrible. That's significantly better than the Neptune 3 Max, which is what I wanted. Okay, we can cancel this print. We're done. I can hear the extruder skipping now. We're definitely done. So, bloop. We look good till about 16 millimeters up the print. Yeah, I would say it's somewhere around 24 millimeters cubed per second. So, okay, if it started to fail at 25 millimeters, what would you actually run? You said EM. Extrusion multiplier doesn't have anything to do with this. It's max volumetric flow rate that we're testing here. So I would usually bump down 2 or 3 digits, not digits, but like 1, 2, 3. So it started to really fail around 25. So I will probably set my limit at about 22, just to give myself a safe margin. Never usually... I don't know what's with these ad settings that people are getting so many ads. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, I usually look for where it fails, and then I bump down a little bit. Like 10% sound is like a little over what it was, but it was Wix, which upsets me. I have a Wix. I use Wix for my website. I like it. I'm just changing the Neptune Pro profile. Yes. I'm just using a Neptune 4 profile and creating my own Neptune 4 Max profile out of it. That's why it printed in the corner of the bed here. So 22 millimeters cubed per second is where I think I'm going to run. I could probably bump the temperature up a little bit and push it a little harder, but I don't want to right now. I'd rather good prints. So that's like the Neptune 3 Max was hard pressed to get over 10. So we're double what the 3 Max was, which is good. Okay, so good summary. Firmware still needs work. They need to do a firmware update yet, I think. I wish they were on the current brand, current Marlin, Klipper. I wish they were on V11 or 0.11 Klipper. That's not a big deal. Overall, it's the 3 Max with some improvements that I wanted to see. My biggest complaint with the Neptune 3 Max was the hot end flow rate was way too anemic for that big of a machine. This now has flow rate that can keep up with a big machine, but it also has a mechanical system, or firmware anyway, that can run faster. So that's good. I really want them to come out with some damn bigger nozzles. They need bigger nozzles. I want a 0.8, a 1 millimeter nozzle in this machine, and then I will be happy. Because even though it can print fast, I would rather print larger, personally, larger extrusion widths instead of just printing faster, personally. So overall, I really like what they've done. I want to keep playing with it. It's interesting. I want to see what it can do when I really push it. And I'm going to start doing that today. Once this stream's done, I'm going to tune in some filament and I'm going to print a big print. So maybe check out like Twitter and Instagram. I'll post, I'll probably try and post a short on here too about it. Not a full video, but a short. Yeah. So overall, I'm really looking forward to testing this thing more. And I think it's a definite improvement over the Neptune 3 Max. So, yeah. For the money, for the $470 that the 3 Max was, and now the 4 is the same freaking price. Like, that really impresses me. I kind of wish maybe they, might have bumped the price up on the 4 Max a little bit and made it a slightly more premium machine. Like the linear rods that the 4 Pro has. I wish they had those on here. I wish maybe it had a 4 millimeter bed instead of a 3 millimeter bed. Is it 3 millimeter? Let me double check. Yes, 3 millimeter bed. So, you know, I'm optimistic about what this machine's going to do, but I need to test it more before I can give a better opinion. There are affiliate links in the description if you're interested in picking one up. Again, I have not tested it enough for me to give a serious opinion about it. I think it's an improvement over the 3 Max, but it does have some edges that are going to need to be smoothed out with firmware updates and improvements, but they already have updated the firmware a handful of times, so I'm sure they're coming. And I don't think it'll be too long before we see some community firmware, or like maybe folks getting a guide out there about how to get it on the mainline Klipper. You might have to run it without the screen doing that, but I don't know. It's possible. I don't know if I'm going to play with that because I don't know I'm going to keep this. As I said earlier in the stream, I am going to Klipperize my Neptune 3 Max. I'm going to Klipperize my Neptune 3 Max, and maybe I'll do a video. I may well do a like my Klipperized Neptune 3 Max versus the Neptune 4 Max. You know, like how does it stack up? I don't know. maybe I'll do that. Would you folks be interested in that? Like my Neptune 3 Max, when I clipperize it, it's not going to be cheap because it's going to have some like a Revo high flow setup on it. Like it's going to be probably, you know, 50% more expensive than this when it's all said and done. I'm putting linear rails on it. I've got a linear rail kit for it. So like, please do that. Okay. All right. So, all right. I think that's going to wrap it up for this one, folks. We got our flow rate test out of this thing. We've run it. It had some rough edges getting to this point. Took a little longer than I would have liked. How long have we been streaming now? 3 hours? Something like that. Yep, 3 hours, 30 minutes. Yay! Yeah, I understand why it doesn't have a thicker bed. Like, I get it. You know, more weight to sling around is a problem, so. You came back just in time for the stream to almost be over. You can always rewatch it, or you can jump around and catch things. I should really try and go in and put timestamps in. I never do that on streams. I really should. So. Playing with a Neptune 3 Pro to get higher speeds. The problem with the Neptune 3 Pro is the hot end. You're always going to be limited by the hot end on the Neptune 3 Pro, unfortunately. So, let's make carbon beds. Yeah. I don't know how good they would be at heat transfer is the problem. All right, folks. I'm going to jet. I'm going to call it here. I've got to go eat lunch because I was playing with getting the stream up and running. Next time you stream, I'll make timestamps, I promise. Cool. So, all right, folks. I'm going to jet. I got to go eat. And I'm going to start tuning this thing in a little finer and push it a little harder. So, all right, folks. I will see you all in the next one, the next stream, the next video. I got a video coming out tomorrow converting the Bamboo Lab P1P into a P1S. So, might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I converted my wife's P1P to P1S. So, there'll be a video about that tomorrow. I rant about something I dislike about Bamboo Lab in that video. That's something folks might be interested in. So, all right, folks. I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time around. Bye.